Hello and welcome to this final first look exploring session looking at the Antiquary by Shackerley Marmion. However much you may like or dislike the play, you'll always get the opportunity to say Shackerley Marmion, which makes everybody's life better. We are proceeding to the end of the play from Act 4, Scene 3. I've been AWOL for a week since the last session, so I've lost track of what's going on. I know what's going on in the play overall, but I don't quite know in what order. So I'm not necessarily the best guide. But reading today, the mixed room, some people have been here throughout. Some people have caught the odd session. Some people haven't been here at all. Reading today, Petrutio and Emilia is...
Sue in Norwich.
Reading Duke, Baccha and Moccinigio is...
Mark in the Midwest, United States.
Reading Leonardo, Boy and Lionell is...
It's Tom from Brighton.
I always want to say Lino, but it's a good thing I don't. Reading the Antiquary, Julia and Lorenzo is...
Liza Graham in London, UK.
Reading Cook, Bravo, Aurelio and Angelia is...
Hi, I'm Greg, and I'm based somewhere near Stratford-on-Avon.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I will be reading a host of other people, because we're a little shorter than planned. There will be some people talking to each other, but I will endeavour to read stage directions, as well as Petro, Gasparo, and Lucretia. So this could be fun. But we will get to the end of the play, which is our primary aim for this session. And so, without further ado, we're going to go into Act 4, Scene 3, Enter Petrutio and Cook.
Honest cook, let me see how thy imagination has wrought as well as thy fingers, and what curiosity thou hast shown in the preparation of this banquet, for gluttoning delights to be ingenious.
I have provided you a feast, sir, of 12 dishes, whereof each of them is an emblem of one of the 12 signs of the zodiac.
Well said! Who will now deny that cookery is a mystery?
Look you, sir, there is the list of them.
Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Good. For Aries, a dish of lamb stones and sweetbreads. For Taurus, a sirloin of beef. For Gemini, a brace of pheasants. For Cancer, a buttered crab. For Libra, a balance, in one scale a custard, in the other a tart. That's a dish for an alderman. For Virgo, a green salad. For Scorpio, a grand one. For Sagittarius, a pasty of venison. For Aquarius, a goose. For Pisces, 2 mullets. Is that all?
Oh, read on, sir.
Oh, and in the middle of the table to have an artificial hen made of puff paste, with her wings displayed, sitting upon eggs composed of the same materials, wherein each of them shall be enclosed a fat nightingale, well seasoned with pepper and ambergris. So then will I add one invention more of my own, for I will have all of these descend from the top of my roof in a throne, as you see Cupid or Mercury in a play.
That will be rare indeed, sir.
Exit Cook. Enter Duke and Leonardo.
The guests are come. Go and make all ready. Gentles, you are welcome.
Is the antiquary arrived or no? Can you tell, sir?
Not yet, but I expect him each minute.
Enter Antiquary.
See, your word has charmed him hither already.
Signor, you are happily encountered, and the rather because I have good news to tell you. The Duke has been so gracious as to release his demand for your antiquities.
See, you have filled me all over with spirit, with which I will mix 16 glasses of wine to his health the first thing I do. Would I knew his highness, or had a just occasion to present my loyalty at his feet.
For that, take no thought. It shall be my care to bring you and Signor Petrutio here, both before him. I've already acquainted him with both your worths, and for aught I can gather by his speech, he intends to do you some extraordinary honors. It may be he will make one a senator because of his age, and on the other bestow his daughter or niece in marriage. There's something hatching, I assure you.
Very likely. I imagined as much. That last shall be my lot. I knew some such destiny would befall me. Shall we be jovial upon the news and thrust all sadness out of doors?
For our parts, Vitellius was never so voluptuous. All our discourse shall run wit to the last.
Our mirth shall be the quintessence of pleasure, and our delight flow with that harmony. The ambitious spheres shall to the centre shrink to hear our music such ravishing accents as are from poets in their fury hurled, when their outrageous raptures fills the world.
There spoke my genius.
Now you talk of music. Have you e'er a one that can play us an old lesson or sing us an old song?
An old lesson? Yes, he shall. The beginning of the world. And for a song he shall sing one that was made to the moving of the orbs when they were first set in tune.
Oh, such a one would I hear.
Walk in then, and it shall not be long before I satisfy your desire.
They exit, and we'll briefly pause there. That's a lovely opening gambit for this session. I felt like it's nicely self-contained, even though it does contain ongoing plot things. But some lovely, a nice listicle to get our juices flowing. Always a brace of pheasants sounds like it should be a lot, but it is only two, and so it is appropriate for Gemini. So yeah, it's a nice
Possibly
little...
Inigo Jones, isn't it? Coming down on a throne. It's lovely. It's like a court mask.
Yeah, nice character stuff. It bounced along quite nicely, actually. I felt. So that pleases me. Any quick thoughts before we actually start getting further into the meat of the text, Liza?
Well, I'm sort of fascinated by all the cosmology here. That they start with food in accordance with the zodiac, and there's a lot of fun stuff there. A lot of sort of parody haute cuisine listed, and then the Duke's speech is very again, our mirth shall be the quintessence of pleasure, and the quintessence was basically in alchemy, it's what's left after you've refined all the baser stuff out. And you have the quintessence of the thing. And then they talk about harmony and the music of the spheres, which I think comes from the end of Plato's Republic. But there was this whole school of Neoplatonism and weird dudes who were into the occult at this time, and
it's a very removable speech as well. I think it's just a lovely sort of 6 lines that you could do to say how much fun we're going to have at a party, which again pleases me. Looking at plays not only as their entirety but also useful little nuggets to borrow. Mark, and then we will move on.
Meanwhile, yeah, the Duke is elsewhere in this scene, and his disguise persona that he's had for a while is continuing whatever sort of tricks he's playing on Petrutio and the Antiquary. Since I missed the first third of the play, I'm like trying to tell how much I'm supposed to know about what his this little schemes are here. But yeah, it's interesting to follow.
Okay. Yes, we're treating this, certainly in my mind, like we've just arrived after the interval. We've missed the first half of the play, so that's let's run with that. Okay. Act 4, Scene 4. You get to hear me. Enter Petro and Julia with 2 bottles.
Come, Master Petro, welcome heartily. While they are drinking within, we'll be as merry as the maids. I stole these bottles from under the cupboard a purpose against your coming.
Oh, courteous Mistress Julia, how shall I deserve this favour from you?
Oh, there is a way, Master Petro, if you could find it. But the tenderness of your youth keeps you in ignorance. 'Tis a great fault, I must tell you.
I shall strive to amend it, if you please to instruct me, lady.
Alas, do you not know what maids love all this while? You must come oftener amongst us. Want of company keeps the spring of your blood backward.
It does so, but you shall see when we are private. I shall begin to practice with you better. Enter Baccha.
Master Pedro, this was kindly done of you.
What's my master doing, can you tell?
Why, they are as jovial as 20 beggars. Drink their whole cup, 6 glasses at a health. Your master's almost tipped already.
So much the better. His business is the sooner dispatched.
Well, let not us stand idle, but verify the proverb, like master, like man. And it shall go hard, Master Petro, but we shall put you in the same queue.
All right, let me have fair play. Put nothing in my cup and do your worst.
Unless the cup have that virtue to retain the print of a kiss or the glance of an eye to enamor you. Nothing else, I assure you.
For that I shall be more thirsty than thirsty of the liquor.
Then, let's make no more words, but about it presently. Come, Master Petro, will you walk in?
I attend you.
It shall go hard, but I'll drink him asleep and then work some knavery upon him.
And they exit for hijinks. Act 4, Scene 5. Enter the Duke, Leonardo, and the Antiquary drunk.
Yeah, I'll drink with all Xerxes' army now, a whole river at a draught.
By Our Lady, sir, I that requires a large swallow.
'Tis all one. To our noble Duke's health. I can drink no less, not a draught less, and you, his servants, will pledge me, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. If you could show us the way, and when we had done, how to build watermills in our bellies.
Do what you will. For my part, I will begin it again and again till Bacchus himself shall stand amazed at me.
But should this quantity of drink come up, 'twere enough to breed a deluge and drown a whole country.
No matter, they can ne'er die better than to be drowned in the Duke's health.
Well, sir, I'll acquaint him how much he is beholden to you.
Will you believe me, gentlemen, upon my credit?
Yes, sir, anything.
Do you see these breeches, then?
Aye, what of them?
These were Pompey's breeches, I assure you.
Is't possible?
He had his denomination from them. He was called Pompey the Great from wearing of these great breeches.
I have never heard so much before.
And this was Julius Caesar's hat when he was killed in the Capitol. I am as great as either of them at this present.
Like enough so.
And in my conceit, I am as honorable.
If you are not, you deserve to be.
Where's Signor Petrutio?
Enter Petrutio and Gasparo.
Nay, good father, do not trouble me now. 'Tis enough now that I have promised you to go to the Duke with me. In the meantime, let me work out matters. Do not clog me in the way of preferment. When I am a nobleman, I will do by you as Jupiter did by the other deities. That is, I will let down my chair of honor and pull you up after me.
Well, you shall rule me, son. Exit Gasparo.
Signor, where have you been?
I've been forcing my brain to the composition of a few verses in the behalf of your entertainment, and I never knew them flow so dully from me before. An exorcist would have conjured you up half a dozen spirits in the space.
Indeed, I've heard you make a fearful noise, as if you had been in a travail with some strange monster.
But I have brought them out at last. I thank Minerva, and without the help of a midwife.
Reach me a chair. I'll sit down and read them for you.
You read them?
Yes, but I'll put on my optics first. Look you, these were Hannibal's spectacles.
Why, did Hannibal wear spectacles?
Yes, after he grew dim with dust in following the camp, he wore spectacles. Reach me the paper.
No, an author must recite his own works.
And I'll sit and sleep.
Read on, signor.
They were made to show you welcome. How welcome you are to me.
Read them out.
As welcome as the gentries to the town after a long and hard vacation. As welcome as a tossed ships to a harbour, health to the sick, or a cast suit to a Berber, or a cast suit to a barber, or as a good new play is to the times, when they have long surfeited with base rhymes, as welcome as the spring is to the year, so are my friends to me when I have good cheer.
While he reads, the antiquary falls asleep.
Aye, merry sir, we are doubly beholden to you. What? Is Signor Veterano fallen asleep, and at the recitation of such verses? Most inhuman disgrace, and not to be digested.
Has he wronged me so discourteously? I'll be revenged by Phoebus.
But which way can you parallel so foul an injury?
I'll go in and make some verses against him.
That you shall not. 'Tis not requital sufficient. I have a better trick than so. Come, bear him in, and you shall see what I will invent for you. This was a wrong and a half.
Oh, and exit. Oh, there's a lot of good fun there. You can wake up now, Antiquary. We've got the little cheekiness of the servants below stairs, but above stairs we've just got the Antiquary getting horribly drunk.
Well, he's very happy because the Duke isn't going to take all his antiquities away.
No, and you're demonstrating all. I liked Caesar's hat. Possibly even more than Hannibal's spectacles.
It's a good hat.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of hat it is now, because I'm just thinking there's so much comic potential for this.
It's one of the best stage directions. When you read that, I mean that he's fallen asleep in the middle of the
It's not even that he falls asleep, but he falls asleep on purpose. It's like, you are going to do verse at me. I'm going to have a nap. Well, this has all been very fun. I'm bouncing along nicely. Okay, any other thoughts? No, let's see where the party's going. Enter Emilia for Act 4, Scene 6. Enter Emilia and Lionell.
Now, Master Lionel, as you've been fortunate in the forecasting of this business, so pray me be studious in the executing, that we may both come off with honour.
Observe but my direction and say nothing.
The whole adventure of my credit depends upon your care and evidence.
Let no former passage discourage you, but be as peremptory as your cause is good.
Nay, if I but once apprehend a just occasion to usurp over him, let me alone to talk and look scurvily. Step aside, I hear him coming.
Exit Lionell. Enter Lorenzo.
My wife! Some angel guard me. The looks of Medusa were not so ominous. I'll haste from the infection of her sight as from the appearance of a basilisk.
Nay, sir, you may tarry, and if virtue has not quite forsook you, or that your ears be not quite altogether obdurate of good counsel, consider what I say, and be ashamed of the injuries you have wrought against me.
What unheard of evasion has the subtlety of woman's nature suggested to her thoughts to come off now?
Well, sir, However you carry it, 'tis I have reason to complain, but the mildness of my disposition and enjoyed obedience will not permit me, though indeed your wantonness and ill carriage have sufficiently provoked me.
Provoked you? I provoked you? As if any fault in a husband should warrant the like in his wife. No, 'twas thy lust and mightiness of desire that is so strong within thee. Hadst thou no company, no masculine object to look upon, yet thine own fancy were able to create a creature with whom thou mightst commit, though not an actual, yet a mental wickedness.
What recompense can you make me for these slanderous conceits, when they shall be proved false to you?
Hear me, thou base woman, thou that art the abstract of all ever yet was bad, with whom mischief is so incorporate that you are both one piece together, but that you go still hand in hand, the devil were not sufficient to encounter with. For thou art, indeed, able to instruct him. Do not imagine with this frontless impudence to stand daring of me. I can be angry, and as quick in the execution of it I can.
Be as angry as you like. Truth and honesty will be confident in despite of you. These are virtues that will look justice itself in the face.
Aye, but where are they? Not anear you. Thou wouldst blast them to behold thee. Scarce, I think, in the world, especially such worlds as you women are.
To see what an easy matter it is to let a jealous, peevish husband go on and rebuke him at pleasure.
So lewd and stubborn mads me. Speak briefly. What objection can you allege against me or for yourself?
None, alas, against you. You are virtuous, but you think you can act the Jupiter to blind me with your escapes and concealed trulls. Yet I am not so simple, but I can play the Juno and find out your exploits.
What exploits? What concealed trulls?
Why, the supposed boy you seem to be jealous of, 'tis your own leman, your own dear morsel. I have searched out the mystery. Husbands must do ill, and wives must bear the reproach. A fine inversion.
I am more in a maze, more involved in a labyrinth than before.
You were best plead innocence, too. 'Tis the safest refuge. But I do not think a man of your age and beard had been so lascivious to keep a disguised cullet under my nose, a base cockatrice in page's apparel, to wait upon you and rob me of my due benevolence. There's no law nor equity to warrant this.
Why, do I any such thing?
Pray, what else is the boy but your own hermaphrodite? A female siren in a male outside. Alas, had I intended what you suspect and accuse me for, I had been more wary, more private in the carriage, I assure you.
Why, is that boy otherwise than he appears to be?
Enter Lionell.
'Tis a thing will be quickly searched out, your secret bawdry, and the murder of my good name will not long lie hid, I warrant you.
Now is my cue to second her.
Ah, Signor Lionel, most welcome. I would entreat your advice here to the clearing of a doubt.
What's that, sir?
'Tis concerning the boy you placed with me.
Aye, what of him?
Whether it were an enchantment or no, or an illusion of the sight, or if I could persuade myself it was a dream, 'twere better, but my imagination so persuaded me that I heard my wife and him interchanging amorous discourse together. To what an extremity of passion the frailty of man's nature might induce me to.
Very good.
Not very good neither. But after the expense of so much anger and distraction, my wife comes upon me again and affirms that he is no boy, but a disguised mistress of mine own, and upon this swells against me as if she'd lain all night in the Leven.
Have not I reason?
Pray, sir, will you inform me of the the verity of his sex.
Then take it upon my word. 'Tis a
Now,
woman.
sir. Now, sir, what have you to answer?
I am not yet thoroughly satisfied, but if it be a woman, I must confess my error.
What satisfaction's that? After so great a wrong and the taking away of my good name, you forget my deserts and how I brought you a dowry of 10 talents. Besides, I find no such superfluity of courage in you to do this neither.
Well, were he a boy or no, 'tis more than I can affirm, yet this I'll swear I entertained him for no mistress, and I hope you for no servant. Therefore, good wife, be pacified.
No, sir. I'll call my kindred and my friends together, then present a joint complaint of you to the Senate. And if they right me not, I'll protest there's no justice in their court or government.
If she have this plea against me, I must make my peace. She'll undo me else. Sweet wife, I'll ask thee forgiveness upon my knees if thou wilt have me. I rejoice more that thou art clear than I was angry for the supposed offence. Be but patient, and the liberty thou enjoyedst before shall be thought thraldom hereafter. Sweet sir, will you mediate?
Come, sweet lady, upon my request you shall be made friends. 'Twas but a mistake, conceive it as so, and he shall study to redeem it.
Well, sir, upon this gentleman's entreaty, you have your pardon. You know the propensity of my disposition, and that makes you so bold with me.
Pray, Master Lionel, will you acquaint my wife with the purpose of this concealment? For I'm utterly ignorant, and she has not the patience to hear me.
It requires more privacy than so. Neither is it yet ripe for projection. But because the community or council is the only pledge of friendship, walk in and I'll acquaint you.
Honest, sweet wife, I thank thee with all my heart.
And exit. So, I mean, this is quite a good scene in the sense that it sort of recaps what this plot has been doing throughout the whole play. So it's quite helpful for anyone who's just come in for this session. But yes, what we're seeing is a balance of power shift that's going on in a relationship between a husband and a wife, both of whom potentially are not the greatest human beings in the universe, and the way that's dancing around. It's a very different kind of scene. It's actually, I think it's weirdly almost. I mean, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of chunk to it, a lot of heft. But I found some of that quite satisfying. I found that back and forth had something going on there, and I'm almost wanting to look at this plot line separately as a little mini domestic drama. I mean, there are lots of problems with it because, of course, in a sense, it's about there are problems about how the undertones of what it's saying work, but I don't inherently think that's insuperable. Any thoughts in the room on this, especially those who've been more in the thick of this plotline? It didn't really develop very much in the first session, as I recall. It was more in the second, I think.
I loved it. How often do you get to say hermaphrodite? Fantastic. I'm so sorry I jumped in on you, Tom. God, so important. Absolutely love this thing. Is it a man, a woman? This whole thing of trans is brilliant. It's very relevant.
Well, it's because it was established quite early in the play. It wasn't immediately established in the play, but it was established about halfway through the precise identity of this page and who it is. So we know as an audience what's going on here, and presumably last session we actually had the wife moving in on the page or expressing that. Which was all explicated in this in this little scene. It's almost a little scene in its own right in many of its ways. Any thoughts on the room before I move forward? We've got one more scene of this act. No, let's head to
I love
the conclusion of the party. Act 4, Scene 7. Enter the Duke, Leonardo, Petrutio, bringing in the Antiquary in a fool's coat.
So set him down softly, then let us slip aside and overhear him.
Duke, Leonardo, Petrutio move aside.
Where am I? What metamorphosis am I crept into? A fool's coat? What's the emblem of this, Trow? Who has thus transformed me, I wonder? I was awake. Am I not asleep still? Why, Petro, you rogue! Sure, I've drunk of Circe's cup, and that has turned me to this shape of a fool. And I had drank a little longer, I've been changed into an ass. Why, Petro, I say, I will not rest calling till thou comest.
Enter Petro in woman's clothes.
Dah! Hoyday! What? More transmigrations of forms? I think Pythagoras has been amongst us. How came you thus accoutred, Sirrah?
Why, sir, the wenches made me drunk and dressed me, as you see.
A merry world the while. My boy and I make one hermaphrodite, and now next midsummer ale I may serve for a fool and he for a maid Marian.
Enter Duke and Leonardo.
Who is this, Signor Veterano?
The same, sir. I was not so when you left me. Do you know who has thus abused me?
Not I, sir.
You promised to do me a courtesy.
Anything lies in my power.
Then, pray will you bring me immediately to the Duke?
Not as you are, I hope.
Yes, as I am. He shall see how I am wronged amongst them. I know he loves me and will right me. Pray, sir, forbear persuasion to the contrary and lead on.
And exit. Yes, it's sort of stag do hijinks. This, isn't it? It's like everyone's got drunk, and you've drawn on people's faces with a felt tip pen, and yeah, it's a short scene, but it follows on from the logic of the earlier scenes as well. And of course, he's asking the Duke, "Can you bring me to yourself?" Because of course they don't know that it's the Duke in disguise. Because Duke's in disguise. That's what happens.
We last saw Petro retiring with 2 women. So I don't know whether he got himself into drag or they got him into drag, or he's just, exploring a new side of his character. Or the company had a costume in storage that they wanted to trot out.
I think from the way that Petro's one line in that scene lands, I think it's more that he thought he was getting a lot more fun than he was expecting, and then they got him drunk and left and stole his clothes. I think that's probably where that's probably landing. But in production, you can do whatever you like.
Yeah, and I love the allusion to the sort of medieval folk theater, the midsummer ales. Ales were games, and basically when you have your Morris dancers and things, you traditionally have a fool, someone dressed as a jester, and you have a maid Marian who's traditionally a man in drag.
Yes, church ale was basically it's all a fundraising activity, and you just have lots of beer arranged, and yeah, Maid Marian and Robin Hood things they're all going back hundreds of years in various different ways. It's your local theatre performance activity that still in certain fashions still exists today. Sue,
Can I ask you, Lisa, what is circus? Who is that? Circus.
Circe?
Circus. Circe. Yes.
I have drunk of Circe's cup. Well, do you remember the Odyssey where Circe turned Odysseus' men into pigs?
Right. Yes. Okay.
So he wakes
at the
up
top of my mind.
He wakes up and he's transformed. So he says, "Oh, I must have drunk of Circe's cup."
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for Act 4. That's what we did of Act 4 today. I was really enjoying that. So there was some good stuff there. I'm definitely feeling that the stakes aren't high in this play. but they're bouncing along quite merrily. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Lorenzo, Moccinigio, Emilia, and Lucretia.
Now, Signor Moccinigio, what haste requires your presence?
Marry, sir, this. You brought me once. I need a different costume.
Yes.
You brought me once into a paradise of pleasure and expectation of much comfort. My request, therefore, is that you would no longer defer what then you so liberally promised.
How do you mean?
Why, sir, in joining that beauteous lady, your daughter, and myself in the firm bonds of matrimony. For I am somewhat impatient of delay in this kind, and indeed the height of my blood requires it.
Are you so hot? I shall give you a card to cool yourself presently.
'Tis an honest and a virtuous demand, and on all sides an action of great consequence. And for my part, there's not a thing in the world I could wish sooner accomplished.
Thank you, sir.
There's another branch of policy besides the complying of you two together, which springs from the fruitfulness of my brain, that I as much labor to bring to perfection as the other.
What's that, sir?
A device upon the same occasion, but with a different respect. 'Tis to be imposed upon Petrutio. I hate to differ so much from the nature of an Italian as not to be revengeful. And the occasion at this time was, he scorned the love of her that you now so studiously affect, but I'll fit him in his kind.
Did he so? He deserves to have both his eyes struck as blind as Cupid's, his master, that should have taught him better manners. But how will you do it?
There's one Lionel, an ingenious, witty gentleman.
Aye, that he is, as ever breathed husband, upon my knowledge.
Well, he is so, and we too have cast to requite it upon him. The plot, as he informs me, is already in agitation, and afterwards, sans delay, I'll bestow her upon you.
But you may be deceived.
Still you engage me more and more your debtor.
Ah, if I can bring both these to success as they are happily intended, I may sit down and with the poet cry, Iamque opus exegi.
Would I could say so too. I wish as much, but 'tis you must confirm it, fair mistress. One bare word of your consent, and 'tis done. The sweetness of your looks encourage me that you will join pity with your beauty. There shall be nothing wanting in me to demerit it. And then I hope, although I am base in respect of you, divine and pure, dutiful service may your lave procure.
Slave, I think, yeah.
Yeah, probably love.
May
Oh,
your
love.
love procure.
Oh, now, signor, what love and poetry! Have they too found you out? Nay, then you must conquer. Consider this, daughter. Show thy obedience to Phoebus and god Cupid. Make an humble proffer of thyself. 'Twill be the more acceptable, and advance thy deserts.
Do, chicken, speak the word, and make him happy in a minute.
Well said, wife, solicit in his behalf. 'Tis well done. I am loath to importune her too much for fear of a repulse.
Marry, come up. Sir, you are still usurping in my company. Is this according to the articles proposed between us, that I shall bear rule and you obey with silence? I had thought to have endeavoured for persuasion, but because you exhort me to it, I'll desist from what I intended. I'll do nothing but of my own accord. Aye.
Mum, wife, I have done. Thus we that are married must be subject to.
You give an ill example, Mistress Emilia. You give an example.
What old fellow is this that talks so? Do you know him, daughter?
Have you so soon forgot me, lady?
Where has he had his breeding, I wonder? He is the offspring of some peasant, sure. Can he show any pedigree?
Let her alone. There's no dealing with her. Come, daughter, let me hear you answer to this gentleman.
Truly, sir, I have endeavoured all means possible, and in a manner enforced myself to love him.
Well said, girl.
But could never effect it.
How?
I have examined whatever might commend a gentleman, both for his exterior and inward abilities. Yet amongst all that may speak him worthy, I could never discern one good part or quality to invite affection.
This is it I feared. Now should I break out into rage, but my wife and a foolish nature withhold my passion.
I am undone, unspirited, my hopes vain, and my labours nullities.
Where be your large vaunts now, signor? What strange tricks and devices you had to win a woman?
Such assurance I conceived of myself, but when they affect wilful stubbornness, lock up their ears, and will hearken to no manner of persuasion, what shall a man do?
Oh, you hear what taxes are laid upon you, daughter. These are stains to your other virtues.
Pray, sir, hear my defence. What sympathy can there be between our two ages, or agreement in our conditions? But you'll object he has means, 'tis confessed. But what assurance has he to keep it? Will it continue longer than the law permits in possession, which will come like a torrent and sweep all away? He has made a forfeiture of his whole estate.
What? Are you become a statist's daughter or a prophetess? Whence have you this intelligence?
I hope she will not betray me.
If murder can exact it, 'tis absolutely lost.
How? Murder?
Yes, he conspired the other day with a bravo, a cutthroat, to take away the life of an innocent, noble gentleman, which is since discovered by miracle, the same that came with music to my window.
All's out, I'm ruined in her confession. That man that trusts woman with a privacy and hopes for silence, he may as well expect it at the fall of a bridge. Secret with them is like a viper, 'twill make away, though it eat through the bowels of them.
Take heed how you traduce a person of his rank and eminency. A scar in a mean man becomes a wound in a greater.
There he is. Question him, and if he deny it, get him examined.
Why, signor, is this true?
Silence betrays him. 'Tis so.
Ah, 'tis so. That all women thirst man's overthrow. That's a principle as demonstrative as truth. 'Tis the only end they were made for, and when they have once insinuated themselves into our counsels and gained the power of our life, the fire is more merciful. It burns within them till it get forth.
I commend her for the discovery. 'Twas not fit her weak thoughts should be clogged with so foul a matter. It had been to her like forced meat to a surfeited stomach that would have bred nothing but crudities in her conscience.
Oh, my cursed fate! Shame and punishment attend me. They are the fruits of lust. Sir, all that I did was for her ease and liberty.
Nay, sir, he was so impudent to be an accessory. Who knows but he might, as privately, have plotted to have sent me after him? For how should I have been secure of my life when he made no scruple to kill another upon so small an inducement?
Thou say'st right, daughter. Thou shalt utterly disclaim him. The cast of his eye shows he was ever a knave.
Oh, how the scabs descant upon me!
What was the motive to this foul attempt?
Why, sir, because he was an affectionate lover of mine, and for no other vile reason in the earth.
Oh, mandrake! Was that all? He thought belike he should not have enough, thou covetous engrosser of venery. Why, one wife is able to content two husbands.
Sir, I am at your mercy. Bid them not insult upon me. I beseech you, let me go as I came.
Stay there. I know not how I shall censure your escape, so I may be thought a party in the business.
Besides, I hear since that the mercenary varlet that did it, though he be otherwise most desperate and hardened in such exploits, yet, out of the apprehension of so unjust an act, and moved in conscience for so foul a guilt, is grown distracted, raves out of measure, confesses the deed, accuses himself and the procurer, curses both, and will by no means be quieted.
Where is that fellow?
Sir, if you please to accompany me, I will bring you to him, where your own eye and ear shall witness the certainty, and then I hope you will repent that ever you sought to tie me to such a monster as this, who preferred the heat of his desires before all laws of nature or humanity.
Yes, that I will, and gratulate the subtlety of thy will and goodness of fate that protected thee from him.
Away with him, husband. And be sure to beg his lands betimes, before you court vultures scent his carcass.
Well said, wife. I should never have thought on this now, and thou hadst not put me in mind of it. Women, I see, have the only masculine policy and are the best solicitors and politicians of the state. But first I'll go see him my daughter tells me of, that when I am truly informed of all, I may the better proceed in my accusation against them. Come along, sir.
Well, if you're so violent, I'm as resolute. 'Tis but a hanging matter. Do your worst.
And they exit. Oh, and
Yeah.
once again, Lucretia's just great. I mean, Lucretia was great in the first session. She was very much the light of that session because it was like, marry me! Cough. Marry me! No, seriously, just go and die. And she was really, really enjoyable.
She was great in session 2 as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got to say the conclusion of this plot line, by and large, it's being sewn up now. And for all the overblownness of it all and the excess of it all, there's still some really good stuff in there. It's really quite fun to play with. And again, I just feel that this is one where just making those dramaturgical edits as well. It's not just trimming it; it's actually making some shaping to this. That this text will actually respond to it. I'm very curious now to think what to do with this after saying, yeah, let's cut a few thousand words and see how it bounces. Because today's been a delight so far. A little hard going in places, but some good stuff. Any thoughts on the room?
You must never cut, thou covetous engrosser of venery. I'm going to use that.
Yes.
I'm just going to drop that when I'm in the greengrocers. A covetous engrosser of venery. How fabulous. I don't quite understand her argument about how women can have two men. I didn't know what I was saying there. Does anybody understand that? When what Strange Tricks, something about women can keep two husbands, or
well, it's coming.
What was that?
Coming from Emilia, who is not disinterested in other people. That might not be wholly to everyone in the room. That could be because we don't really have properly marked asides in this, so I'm wondering whether you can play that as an aside. Actually,
thank God, I can keep 5 happy. So why can't? Yeah, right. Okay. Couldn't understand that.
Other thoughts? Otherwise, we'll move deeper into the act, where the doubling is going to get even more confusing. Liza.
I love the line about being less Italian because you dare to not seek revenge. That's like, to someone who reads a lot of plays set in Italy, it's
yeah, and at this point as well, it's like, I wonder what plays they've got in the repertoire as well, because whether that's bouncing off that, I'm going, yesterday I was playing as revengeful Spaniard, today I am not, or Italian or whatever. So yeah.
When they call on a mandrake, what is that? Mandrake, was that all? Is that a kind of like a rabbit's foot or something? Is it one of those magic things, a mandrake?
Is it about screeching at that point? I need the context.
Because he wasn't.
Well, I'm just looking for it. I remember
it's on 62, and why, sir? Because he was
Mandrake, was that all?
Mandrake.
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, there's an association that mandrake, that the drink you make out of a mandrake root is bitter, but and
it's got associations with aphrodisiacs, and it's also got associations that, in theory, when you pull a mandrake, it screams. But none of those really fit this context.
It could mean something. It could be something about unnaturalness. Saying, Lucretia, Lorenzo saying, okay, why did this guy want to kill some other? Why did this guy hire an assassin to kill someone else? And Lucretia's like, oh, he hired him to kill him because he was another lover of mine. And so
But yeah, it's odd in that context, isn't it? It doesn't.
I can see how it would work on stage. Though.
Oh, it works as a line. It's just I'm not quite sure that it
Oh
quite.
It's a
man,
fabulous
Drake.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or it could.
Yeah, let's just
Anyway,
put
sorry.
the answers in the comments if you have additional thoughts on that line. On Oh Mandrake, was that all? It does read nicely. So maybe it was just for bounce. Act 5, Scene 2. We have Bravo and the boy.
What's news, boy?
Sir, Mistress Lucretia commands her to you, and desires, as you her persuasion wrought upon you, or as you've affected her good and would add credit and belief to what she has reported, that you would now strain your utmost to the expression of what she and you consulted of.
I apprehend her. Where is she?
Hard by, sir. Her father and the old fornicator, Moccinigio, and I think her mother, are all coming to be spectators of your strange behaviour.
Exit boy.
Go wait them in. Let me alone to personate an ecstasy. Oh, I am near mad already, and I do not fool myself quite into it. I cannot. I'll withdraw till they come.
Exit Bravo. Enter Lorenzo, Moccinigio, Emilia, Lucretia, and boy.
Is this the place?
Yes, sir. Where's your master boy? How does he?
Oh, sweet mistress, quite distempered. Her brains turn round like the needle of a dial. 6 men's strength is not able to hold him. He was bound with I know not how many cords this morning, and broke them all. See where he enters.
Enter Bravo.
Why, if I killed him, what says that to thee? Oh, was I not hired onto it? Oh, 'twasn't I. Oh, but the base gold that slew Sir Polydore, then damn the money.
He begins to peach.
Will he do us no mischief, think you?
No, no, he is the best for that in his fits, that e'er you know. He hurts nobody.
But I am vilely afraid of him.
If you are a vile person, or have done any great wickedness, you are best to look to yourself, for those he knows by instinct, and assaults them with as much violence as he may be.
Then I am perished. Good sir, I'd rather answer the law than be terrified with his looks.
Nay, you shall tarry and take part with us by your favour.
How his eyes sparkle.
Where the ghost is, his wounds fresh bleeding. Oh, he frowns and threatens me. Could the substance do nothing and will shadows revenge?
'Tis strange. This was a fearful murder.
You do not stand so. I can look big too. All I did unto thee 'twas by an instigation. There be some that are as deep in as myself. Go and fight them too.
Beshrew him for his counsel.
What a just judgment's here! 'Tis an old saying, murder will out, and for it shall lie hid, the authors will accuse themselves.
Oh, now he vanishes. Oh, what does that steal from me, fearful spirit? Oh, see the print of his footsteps.
Oh, that ever my lust should be the parent to so foul a sin.
He told me that his horrid tragedy was acted over every night in hell. Oh, where sad Elenus with a venomed face, black with a sit spectatrix that lifted their speckled heads above their shoulders, and thrusting forth their stings, hiss and hiss, and that's
How can you have the heart to look upon him? Pray let me go. I feel a looseness in my belly.
Nay, you shall hear all out first.
I confess it. What would you have more of me?
confess and you all to talk, make them not down and play my part amongst them, but I can do it to the life.
Rather to the death.
I'll trace the infernal theatre and view those squalid actors and the tragic pomp of hell and night.
How ghastly his words sound. Pray keep him off from me.
The guilt of conscience makes you fearful, signor.
When I come there, I'll chain up Cabrus. When they'll muzzle him, I'll pull down Acus and Minos by the beard. Then with my foot I'll tumble Adamanthus from his chair. And for the Furies I'll not suffer them. I'll be myself a Fury.
To vex me, I warrant you.
When I post onto the destinies, shiver their wheel and distaff against the wall, and spoil their house whiffery, I'll take their spindle, where hang the threads of human life like beams drawn from the sun, and mix them to go together, kings with the beggars.
Good sir, he comes towards me.
I can see that old fox Moccinigio, the villain that did tempt me to this deed.
He names me too. Pray, sir, stand between us. Ladies, do you speak to him? I have not the faith.
What would you do with him if you had him?
I'd serve him worse than Hercules did Lycus, when he presented him the poisoned shirt, which when he had put on and felt the smart, he snatched him by the head into the air, swung him some once or twice about his head, then shot him a stone out of an engine, 3 furlongs length into the Euboic spar.
What a huge progress is that for an old lover to be carried.
That's he that seeks to hide himself. A both, a mortal, thou art a traitor or a murderer. Oh, is it you?
Oh, what will become of me? Pray help me! I shall be torn in pieces else.
You and I must walk together. I'm into the middle, yet further. You're muted, Rob.
Hey, Rob, you're muted. You hear us, Rob? You're muted, you're...
Ah, okay, all those wonderful words went nowhere. Okay, enter Aurelio, and more importantly, I'll read Aurelio to save Greg from losing it slightly, by talking to himself. Enter Aurelio as an officer and 2 servants. Where be these fellows here that murder him? Sergeants, apprehend them, and convey them straight before the Duke.
Are you?
We are the Duke's officers.
The Duke's officers must be obeyed. Take heed of that displeasing them. How majestically they look.
You see, wife, the charm of authority. I am a man, be ne'er, and a man be ne'er so wild it tames him presently.
Aye, husband, I know what will tame a man besides authority.
Ah, come, gentles, since you are all together, I must entreat your company along with us to witness what you know in his behalf.
Sir, you have prevented us, for we intended to have brought him ourselves before his highness.
Then I hope your resolution will make it easier for you. What, sir? Will you go willingly?
That's no contradiction. Lead on.
Exuent flourish. Flourish for the next scene. Yes, so, and so for continuing from the plotting of this from the previous part of the play. The bravo is pretending to be mad. I mean, he's not actually mad. He was hired to do the deed, and he was turned around to scare the living bejesus out of Moccinigio. So it is delightfully over the top, and I'm sure full of various theatrical references as well. I'm sure we can probably find bits and bobs in there for those who like fishing for such things. But yes, it's a fun little back and forth. But again, possibly could do with the trim, but the basic idea is good. How was it for you, Greg?
Oh, it was glorious. I mean, I don't know how whether I think it ended up being what's the name of the film? Theatre of Blood was where I think my inspiration ended up coming from, because it just felt very much like who is it in the film?
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price.
Vincent Price, yes, of course, Vincent Price chewing the scenery. I mean, that's essentially what the brother is doing, and the lines are fabulous. I mean, so many and as you say, Rob, there's probably theatrical references in that. There's a wonderful, and I mean, taking Cerberus and all that, and putting Rhadamanthus down from his chair. You can see it in your mind's eye. And yes, I agree. Yes, it probably was Euberic C, but I quite like the Euberic Spa. I thought that was much more fun. I did read ahead slightly and went, nah, I'm going to keep it a spa. I don't know why. The visions of bubbling water just sounded much more fun.
Yes. I always like an occasional fun typo. There are always interesting things sometimes happen. Any other thoughts before we go into the final chaos that is everybody talking at the same time because we've run out of actors? No. Okay, Act 5, Scene 3. Greg, you're back to being Aurelio with everybody else, so you've just arrested yourself. I was being you, so now you are you, and I will be who I am, and this won't be confusing at all. Act 5, Scene 3. Enter Lionell as the Duke. Because, of course, in the absence of the Duke is pretending to be somebody else is pretending to be the Duke. And breathe. So, enter Lionell as the Duke, Petrutio, Gasparo, and Angelia as a woman.
Come, Signor, this is the morning must shine bright upon you, wherein preferment, that has slept obscure, and all this while lingered behind your wishes, shall overtake you in her greatest glories. Ambition shall be weak to think the honors shall crown your worth.
Father, you hear all this?
I do with joy, son, and I'm ravished at it. Therefore I have resigned my estate unto thee, only reserving some few crowns to live on, because I'd have thee to maintain thy part.
You did as you ought.
'Tis enough for me to be the parent of so blessed an issue.
Nay, if you are so apprehensive, I am satisfied.
Is this the gentleman you so commended?
It is the same, my liege, whose royal virtues, fitting a prince's court, are the large field for fame to triumph in.
So you inform me. His face and carriage do import no less.
Report abroad speaks him as liberally, and in my thoughts fortune deserves but ill that she detained thus long her favours from him.
That will I make amends for.
Happy hour, and happy me to see it. Now I perceive he has more wit than myself.
What must I do?
What must you do? Go straight and kneel before him, and thank his highness for his love.
I can't speak. I am so overcome with sudden gladness. Yet I'll endeavour it. Most mighty sovereign, thus low I bow in humble reverence to kiss the bias of your regal throne.
Rise up.
Your grace's servant.
We admit you, our nearest favour in palace and council.
Go to, you are made forever.
I'll find some office to gratulate thy pains.
What was the cause that you pretend him no sooner to us? We might have bred him up in our affairs, and he have learned the fashions of our court, which might have rendered him more active.
Doubt not his ingenuity will soon instruct him.
Then, to confirm him deeper in our friendship, we here assign our sister for his wife. What, is he bashful?
Speaks your grace in earnest?
What else? I'll have it so.
Why do you not step and take her?
Is not a kind of treason?
Not if he bid you.
Divinest lady, are you so content?
What my brother commands, I must obey.
Join hands together. Be wise and use your dignities with due reverence. Tiberius Caesar joined not in the birth of great Sisinus, fortunes with that zeal as I shall have you raise you, though I hope a different fate attends you.
Go to the church, perform your rites there, and return again as fast as you can.
Oh, I could e'en expire with contemplation of his happiness.
What old man's that?
This is my father, sir.
Your own father?
So please your grace.
Give him a pair of velvet breeches from our grandsire's wardrobe.
Thrice noble Duke, come son, let's to the church. Exeunt Petrutio, Gasparo, and Angelia. Enter Antiquary and Petro.
How now? What new come pageants have we here?
This is the famous Antiquary I told your grace of, a man worthy your grace, the Janus of our age, and the treasurer of times past, a man worthy your bounteous favour and kind notice, that will as soon forget himself in the remembrance of your highness as any subject you have.
How comes he so accounted?
No miracle at all, sir, for as you have many fools in the habit of a wise man, so have you sometimes a wise man in the habit of a fool.
Sir, I have been grossly abused, and has no story, record, or chronicle can parallel the like, and I come here for redress. I hear your highness loves me, and indeed you are partly interested in the cause, for I, having took somewhat a large portion for your grace's health, fell asleep, when in the interim they apparelled me as you see, made a fool or an assinigo of me, and for my boy here, they cogged him out of his proper shape into the habit of an Amazon to wait upon me.
But who did this?
Nay, sir, that I cannot tell, but I desire it may be found out.
Well, signor, if you knew all, you have no cause to be angry.
How so?
Why, that same coat you wear did formerly belong unto Pantolabus, the Roman jester, and buffoon to Augustus Caesar.
I thought so. I never put it off while I breathed. Stand by. We'll inquire further anon.
No.
Now, who are you?
Sorry, are you reading Lionell? Why
Oh, buggeration. Sorry, I thought it was Lorenzo.
No, it's all right.
My bad.
Lionell, as you were, fake Duke.
Stand by. I will inquire further anon.
And
Now,
enter at this point Aurelio, Lorenzo, Moccinigio. It's really going to get difficult now. Bravo, Emilia, Lucretia, and officers.
Now, who are you?
Oh, your highness's officers, we have brought two murderers here to be consented, who by their own confusion are found guilty and need no further trial.
Which be their parties?
These, and please you.
Well, what do you answer? What can you plead to stop the course of justice?
For my part, though I had no conscience to act it, I have not the heart to deny it, and therefore expect your sentence. For mercy I hope none, nor favor.
What say the accuser?
Please your princely wisdom, he slew a man was destined for my husband. Yet since another's death cannot recall him, were the law satisfied and he adjudged to have his goods confiscate for my own part, I could rest well content.
With all my heart I yield possession to whomsoe'er she shall choose for a husband. Reach a paper or blank, I'll seal to it.
See, there's a writing.
And there's my hand to it. I care not what the conditions be.
'Tis well. Whom will you choose in place of the other?
Then, sir, to keep his memory alive, I'll seek no further than this officer.
Choose a common sergeant for her husband.
A base commendador? I'll ne'er endure it.
Lady, gentlemen, I assure you, and supposed the slain Aurelio.
He discovers himself.
A plot upon me! I'll revoke it all.
Nay, that you cannot. Now you have confirmed it.
Am I then cheated? I'll go home and die to avoid shame, not live in infamy.
Exit Moccinigio. Not very happy.
What says the villain Bravo for himself?
The bravo, sir, is honest, and his father. My father, bless me, how comes this about? That virtuous maid whom I must always honour acquainted me with that old lecher's drift. I, to prevent the ruin of my son, concealed from all, proffered my service to him in this disguise.
'Twas a wise and pious deed.
And before some other people come on stage, I think we should just take that in. The Bravo is Aurelio's father. You know, there are certain disguises that we sort of know about. The thing. Was this set up before? I don't think it was. I think this is a genuine out of the blue one, isn't it?
No, it was in the first scene.
It was in the first
when
scene.
We read before. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I don't.
Was it in the very beginning of the play?
Wasn't it, Mark?
We've all forgotten it.
I came in the second third, and I was reading the character list, and I was like, "Oh, it's Aurelio's dad," and then was very confused that he wasn't acting like Aurelio's dad in the first scene. I don't think the audience is supposed to know that at this point. I think it's supposed to be a surprise.
I think it's supposed to be a surprise. I mean,
I read the
at this
first
point.
bit.
Yeah. Was it in the first bit? I forget. I don't recall this at the very bit. While we're paused, I'll just quickly flick back and see.
I know he was someone's dad.
I don't think Bravo appeared until the session we did last week.
I have
the
not
middle part.
forgotten Greg's performance.
Act 3, Scene 1 was the first time we saw the Bravo. Literally, we'd never met him before that.
Was it? Oh.
But does Aurelio talk about him at all?
Well, he seems quite surprised at this point. So,
I didn't read the first third, so I don't know if there was something, but it seemed
Aurelio
like there wasn't.
First appears.
No, I mean the Bravo says that Lucretia filled him in.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think this is a genuine surprise. I think this is a genuine surprise about what's going on here.
It's even more fun when you're reading both characters.
Yes. That's partly why I paused, just to make sure that everyone knew what was going on there. Although we only have about a page and a half to go, so let's conclude this narrative. Enter Petrutio, Angelia, and Gasparo from the other room.
Whom for the Duke's kindred.
What, you are married, I perceive?
I am, royal brother.
Then for your better learning in our service, take these instructions. Never hereafter condemn a man that has more wit than yourself, or foolishly conceive no lady's merit or beauty worth your affection.
How's this?
Truth, my most honest brother, you are gulled. So is my reverend uncle, the antiquary. So are you all, for he that you conceive the Duke is your friend and Lionel. Look you close.
'Tis so.
'Tis too apparent true.
What, all drunk? Speak, uncle.
Thou art my nephew, and thou hast wit. 'Tis fit thou shouldst have land too. Tell me no more how thou hast cheated me. I do perceive it, and forgive thee for it. Thou shalt have all I have, and I'll be wiser.
I thank you, sir. Brother Petrutio, this is your comfort. That is my sister, whom formerly you did abuse in love. And you may be glad your lot is no worse.
I am contented. I'll give you a good wit, leave to abuse me at any time.
When he cannot help it.
This 'tis to be so politic and ambitious, son.
Nay, father, do not you aggravate it too.
Well, signor, you must pardon me if I bid joy to you. My daughter was not good enough for you.
You are tyrannous.
Enter Leonardo. Have I given anyone Leonardo? Yes, I have. Good.
And Lionel.
Yeah, it's. Shall I do Leonardo for this moment? I don't think I say anything at the moment. Save
But
you,
who's gonna
gallants!
Who's going to be the other three turtles?
It's fine.
You are very welcome.
I come in quest of our noble Duke, who from his court has stolen out privately, and 'tis reported he is here.
No, indeed, sir. He is not here. Slight we shall be questioned for counterfeiting his person.
Be not dismayed. I am the Duke.
My lord!
The very same, sir, that for my recreation have descended, and no impeach, I hope, to royalty, to sit spectator of your mirth, and thus much you shall gain by my presence. What is past, I'll see it ratified as firm as if myself and Senate had concluded it. And when a prince allows his subjects sport, he that pines at it, let him perish for it.
And exit and play ends. Okay, so it's a very good lesson, I think, of not immediately judging a text from its first session if it's a little hard work, because actually this text has definitely yielded some really nice results. I mean, none of these plots are original. This ending is not in any way original. I kind of feel the Duke at the end is sort of waiting for a cue. It's like he's standing there going, "Shall I reveal myself?" He could almost be doing it to the audience. Shall I tell them that? Shall I? Nah, it's fine. Because we have genuine revelations, and then we have just the expected revelations, and actually how it all sort of fits together and hangs and functions is really interesting. So yeah, let's not say that this text doesn't need work and a bit of sort of just fine tuning. And definitely some cuts. It's a bit too long for a comedy. It's got a lot going for it. It's got a lot of good material. Shackerley Marmion. Yeah, we've got 2 more of them, so that's nice. Thoughts from the room at this end. How are we finding Shackerley? How are we finding this ending to the play? I rather enjoyed the ending. I think everyone's revelations were quite nicely done. Tom.
The ending is fabulous. The first 2 sessions were just going round and round the houses, but the end was nicely put together, and I think could stand by itself. Actually,
I think this is the thing, the catastrophe. I get the impression that this is someone who understands the structure of classical drama. And, it's very much in the Ben Jonson school of how you structure a play. It's all mechanical and clockwork up to a certain point, and then the mechanism really starts going. And yeah, it is a matter of navigating some of that earlier material that is slightly overwritten and hasn't found its groove. But once the characters have found their groove, it's like a sitcom. We know what the Antiquary is going to do. He's going to do a thing with his props, and we know this, and we know this, while the plot is also moving on. And it's really quite nice once you've got those characters in place. And Gasparo's a really nice character. I like Gasparo because he's just, my son is so great. Then he really isn't. Sue?
Absolutely love the women. Yes. They started off taking such a lot of merde, and I thought, I don't like Shackerley. I think, is he going to be like last week? We were dealing with real misogyny and I'm afraid in the Revenge of Tragedy. But I love these women. They were really speaking up for everything. And now I know why I called myself Kid, because I think the women in these plays often really stand up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
and enjoy sex.
Yeah, Lucretia,
and that's what the Mandrake route was about. Of course it is. It's all about, yeah. Anyway.
So Lucretia was great from the off. I mean, she had to put up with so many really shit men, and she's organised all of this, all of the stuff that's to do with her and her main plotline. She's done all the plotting for that. She's arranged it all. She's got daddy-in-law to pretend to be a bride, and all the rest of it, and get all this stuff going. So she's absolutely fabulous. I mean, I think there are things to be worked on with Emilia, but that plot line is really interesting and has lots of potential, and certainly got a lot going on it. So yeah, absolutely, there's some great parts in there. Liza, did you have a thing or?
Did I have a thing?
I don't know. I'm going to go to final thoughts in just in a few moments, but you primarily on the conclusion before we talk about the play overall.
Well, the end strikes me as very abrupt. I would like an epilogue. I would like a dance. I would like a song. I'd like something. I mean, I love all the revelations. Going, I'm Lionel. Okay, well, I'm the Duke, and I feel that once the Duke has revealed himself, there should be I don't know. I would like a little bit more of the conclusion. I'd like the Duke to have a bit more to play around with.
I don't. It's like he's the last man standing, and I'm not sure because it's all of those revelations and all of that thing in that final scene. It's a good 10-15 minutes long. So it's not a short scene. Actually, Mark.
Yeah, to me, it is a little weird how he's like, I am the Duke, big reveal at the end, and then literally just one person says, my lord, and then the Duke says 10 lines and the play is done. It does feel a little abrupt to me, but, who knows how it'll feel in an actual staged production.
It's kind of like, what else are you going to say? It's just, ta-da. I quite like, and it's so over the top, especially as everyone's doing these disguises. I mean, it's like, how the hell is any of these people being disguised from their own closest relatives who they live with all the time? It's not like it's, I haven't seen you for 5 years, I've grown a beard. No, it's literally, I saw you yesterday. I mean, what level of SFX have they got?
Well, no, it's the whole no, don't be silly. Clark Kent can't be Superman. He wears glasses.
Yes. It's the convention of early modern disguising, but this play does push it, which is why it's so silly.
Shackerley Marmion, he loves it. Shackerley Marmion loves dressing up. And,
everybody's dressing up. Yeah,
I'll be a man today, a woman tomorrow. Great.
Yeah,
great.
Right, okay, let's go into final thoughts then. Tom, do you have any final thoughts about the play overall? I think you sort of touched on it just now, but anything additional?
No, but I do like the ending, and I like the curtain falls at the right place, I think.
Liza, any final thoughts for a play you've only read a third of with the group?
Well, I think this is a fun play, and just on the strength of what we've done today, I would be very interested to watch a full, like, a staged reading, or it strikes me as a viable candidate for an inclusion in one of our Revels seasons. Do you know about our Revels seasons, YouTube viewers? You really should.
Yes, by this point, hopefully they're well ensconced. Yeah, I definitely think this is one to workshop as well. I think there's potential to be drawn out of these scenes, deciding what to trim and adjust and fill it to get the most out of this text. Because I think absolutely I'd like to test it as a text in its entirety without playing around with it, but I think it will be best played with sensitive work done to it. Susan, any final thoughts?
Gorgeous, gorgeous words. There's just fantastic things to say there. Just all of it. Love it. It's really fun, really playful. I want to get up and rehearse it right now. Do the play right here.
Yeah. Mark, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it pretty well. I feel like the last third was solid. There's fun stuff with, like multiple characters that I played, like, being tricked or doing some tricking. And yeah, I think to Rob's point at various points throughout today's, that there's places where I can get trimmed, where it's like, yeah, we didn't need this like exchange to happen 7 times of Moccinigio being like, but yeah, pretty good.
Okay, right. Well, that's that for Shackerley. Well, it's that for the Antiquary, but it's not that for Shackerley Marmion. We've got 2 more Shackerley Marmion plays yet to read, and we will read them at some point in the future, though I don't know precisely when, because I never do. If you'd like to join us for some Shackerley Marmion or some other things, you can join us. There are sign-up forms on our website, beyondshakespeare.org, and these are entirely free to join. Anyone can join us. We do this several times a week, all the time, and hopefully you can join us rather than just continue watching us on your screens in wherever you are in the world. All that remains to thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. Be not dismayed, for I am the Duke.